I was born on April 19th, 1994, in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Despite the fact that I lived in Fort Wayne, I went to elementary, middle, and high school 30 minutes north in a small town called Waterloo. Because my parents didn't always have the time to watch my sister, brother, and we attended a babysitter in Waterloo. I think this is where I first gained an anthropological perspective without really knowing it. I grew up around friends at daycare that were mainly rural farmers. However, my family that I would see during the holidays was and still is living very comfortably. I began to see the differences in the financial lifestyles, but also how it affected the social identities of these two different groups of people. Transitioning from high school to college was easy for me in many ways. Coming into a more diverse setting from a rural high school was a much-needed change of pace. I enrolled into IPFW and declared history as my major and anthropology as my minor. Being around others who thought similarly made me feel less like the proverbial black sheep of the group. In the spring of my freshman year, I took 2 courses that I feel really helped propel me into anthropology. I took a religion and culture class, and in this class my professor would always tell me that I thought like an anthropologist. The other class was the history of the Russian Revolution and Soviet regime. The almost daily discussions about ideology compelled me to think about contemporary issues and what ideologies were being used. At the end of the semester, I decided to transfer to IUPUI and live with my high school friends Jake and Leah. Living independently from my parents for the first time in my life was very liberating. During this semester, I switched my major and minor around and started taking more anthropology courses. Among many things that we talked about in human origins and prehistory, the one thing I remember the most was Chauvet Cave. Chauvet Cave currently has the earliest known cave paintings in the world. However, what I remember the most are the series of human handprints that were painted on the cave walls. To me, this was a clear representation of the human condition, and these handprints further enraptured my imagination and desire to graduate with a BA in anthropology. I am extremely grateful for the anthropology faculty that I have been surrounded with for the past 3 years here at IUPUI. Furthermore, I've made some awesome memories as an anthropology major, like making a stone axe that broke halfway through my experiment, or by conducting ethnographic field research in Mapleton Fall Creek and presenting a poster, and most recently, joining the anthropology club. As for the future, I'm currently applying to get into IUPUI's accelerated teaching program. I would like to teach secondary social studies and focus more on history that is often overlooked. However, I'm not completely ruling out attending grad school in the future, if at all possible. If I ever do grad school, I think I would be interested in looking at the intersection of gentrification and education. Ultimately, choosing to be an anthropology major has been one of the best decisions I have made thus far in my life. As a discipline, anthropology consistently makes me confront my preconceived notions and understand what is actually happening on the ground, while at the same time working with disenfranchised communities to be a voice for the voiceless and an activist for social change.